Cute as a cupcake. Where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. Get by Cute as a Cupcake if you're in the Northwest Indiana area at 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. That's 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. And go to Instagram and follow them. I dare you to look at these cupcakes and not have the desire to get one. Go to Instagram and follow them at Cute as a Cupcake 3. Cute as a Cupcake 3 on Instagram. And if you want them delivered to your home, then go to www.cuteasacupcake3.com and order your cupcakes today. That's Cute as a Cupcake, where the cupcakes are more than just cute, they're delicious. Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And once again, thank each and every one of you for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I truly appreciate it. So welcome back to the show. Last week, we kicked the show off. We started our series that's going to end out the year for us, 5 Pillars of Credit. And we're talking about each of those 5 pillars in painstaking detail, if you will. So last week, what did we talk about? We talked about inquiries last week. I said that the first shall be last and the last shall be first, because oftentimes when individuals talk about these 5 pillars, these 5 factors, these 5 categories, whatever you want to call them, they usually start with payment history, and rightfully so, because it's 35% of your credit score. And then oftentimes what gets missed, people forget about, they don't think about, they don't realize how it impacts them. They forget about the last pillar itself, which is inquiries, and it's 10% of your credit score. So we dove into all of that last week, right? So this week we're going to continue with that, and yes, come back every week so you can get all of these things. You got to know the whole picture. You got to know all the rules to the game so you can exceed and excel and achieve what you're trying to do, what your goal is, right? So make sure you come back every week and check out the 800 Credit Score Man Show and share, share this with your friends and your family. Share the 800 Credit Score Man Show as we close out 2020. All right, so let's get to it, you guys. Let's go ahead and get into let me do my shout outs right quick, and then we'll jump into what we're going to talk about today. So I got to give a shout out to Steve James. Yes, Steve James celebrated his birthday. Happy birthday to you, sir. I know it's not the same this year because Steve gets it in. He absolutely gets it in every year, and it's just not the same this year for you. But the blessing is that you're here for another one, and next year we'll get it in twice as hard to make up for 2020. So happy birthday to you, Steve James. Mark Atkins, he celebrated his birthday, so happy birthday to you, Mark Atkins. Play it safe out there in those streets. So thank you very much, Mark Atkins, for your service in police department. So happy birthday to you. Reggie White, and that's how you gotta say it. Reggie White celebrates his birthday. That's my sayings. Today is his birthday, so happy birthday to you, Reggie White. Frankie Trigg is going to celebrate his birthday. Yes, another one of my sayings. He's going to celebrate his birthday on Monday, so happy birthday to you, Brother Trigg. Valencia Frazier, she celebrates her birthday today as well. Happy birthday to you, Valencia. She's got so much stuff going on. You need to find her on social media and follow her. She's got a lot of stuff going on. The Inspirationista. You guys check out Valencia Frazier. Happy birthday. And my man Brian Kelly celebrated his birthday as well. So happy birthday to you, Brian Kelly. Many more. All right, so let's jump into what we're going to talk about today. So today we're actually going to talk about the mix. Yes, we're going to talk about your credit mix. That's what we'll be talking about today on the 800 Credit Score Man Show. And I'll give you all the details of why it's important, why is it even part of these 5 pillars and whatnot. We're going to discuss that all today on the 800 Credit Score Man Show. And before I do, let me say thank you. Thank you to the frontline workers that are out there. Frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors, the CNAs, the MAs, the orderlies, even the janitors, everybody. The janitors are coming through and they're cleaning the heck out of wherever you are. If it's a school, definitely if it's a hospital, a doctor's office, any of those kinds of places where you go. Let me give a shout out to them. You're talking about true life heroes in the flesh. So you guys get my utmost love and affection. So thank you guys. And I won't be here. Well, Christmas will happen before we get back on the air. So let me say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus for the rest of us. All of those things, you guys. So I think I covered everybody. So listen, I didn't go back and listen to the show last week, and I typically do. And this is really something for all my podcasters out there, people that do this. I usually listen to the show 3 times. I listen to the show once for production, and that's for sound and clarity and all that kind of stuff. See if I'm too loud, if it's too low, did the music start on time, did the ad run right, things of that nature. Then I listen the second time for the content in itself. So did I give good, accurate information? That's what I'm listening for, like exclusively. I'm trying to block out everything else. And then the third time, I'm on there to critique myself. So, am I talking too fast? Am I talking too slow? Did I say too many times? Things like that are what I'm looking for. And if there's any dead air as well. Now, sometimes I do pause for a dramatic pause, so you guys can get what I'm talking about. But those are the kinds of things that I usually listen to. And I didn't go back and listen to last week's show, but I thought it was actually a very, very good show. And typically from the reaction and the number of people that are listening to the show kind of tells me if I'm right or wrong. And so it was a good show last week in that regard. A lot of people listen to the show talking about the inquiries and whatnot, and they want to know what actually makes up their credit score. So we're going to jump into today and talk about what it is. Last week was inquiries. That's 10% of your credit score. And we're going to build on that 10% until we get to 100% of what actually makes up your credit score. So this week, we're going to be talking about your mix. Yes, that's M as in Mary, I-X. Your mix is 10% of your credit score. And it's the credit mix. So when I talk about this mix, what is the mix and why is it so important? The pillars refer to the types of credit you have. Well, this pillar refers to the types of credit that you have that are open and active on your credit report. Now, why in the world does this matter at all? The credit bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, plus FICO, and even VantageScore, they like to see how responsible you are with different types of credit. So that's what they're looking for. It gives them some kind of insight into your attitude towards your credit overall. So, yep, they get some kind of insight how you feel about, if you're going to pay this credit card or, how you feel about your student loans or whatever. But this gives them that kind of insight that they're looking for your credit. Now, the way you handle different accounts is important, and if it wasn't, it wouldn't be a part of the credit formula in itself. It wouldn't be if it wasn't important to them and they didn't see that they can glean some information from it to help them decide what your credit score is or how much money they should lend you and things of that nature. Should you be approved? Should you be denied? It wouldn't be part of this if they didn't think that it was important. And this is actually one of the ones that I don't mind this particular pillar. I don't know if I mentioned it or not last week in regards to inquiries. I can't stand that particular pillar. I don't think it should be one of the pillars. I think we can find something else to replace it with, or maybe even make that particular pillar a smaller percentage of what makes up your credit score. But this one, I actually don't mind at all. Not at all. So what are we talking about in this credit formula that makes up your credit score? There are 2 main types of credit that you have. You have revolving credit and you have installment credit. Now, if you were to go take a look at your credit report, if you look at the details on any of the accounts, look at the details on the accounts where they give you how much money. If it's a credit card, they'll say, how much the limit is. They'll say what your balance is. If it's a car loan and you were looking at it, it'll tell you how long you've had the car, things of that nature. Go look into the details. Part of this in the details on any of those accounts, it's labeled whether that particular account is either revolving or if it's installment. So you can take a look. I can't say if it's always on the right hand side because Equifax looks a little bit different than Experian. Experian looks a little bit different than TransUnion. If you're looking at your credit report on, say, Credit Sesame, or if you're looking on it on Identity IQ, it looks a little different everywhere. So I can't say exactly where it is, but in those details, it'll tell you if this particular account is revolving or if that account is an installment loan. So take a look at those things, and you'll be able to find it on your credit report. And let me say this too: end of the year, a lot of purchasing going on. Not so much purchasing going on in person like it has been in the past. A lot of online stuff going on. Check your credit report. Please check your credit report. Take a look at it. Talked about inquiries last week. Maybe you haven't used your credit card or whatever, or maybe you have used it. Check your inquiries. Go ahead, go to www.annualcreditreport.com. Don't Google that. Go directly there and check your credit reports. You can get all 3 credit reports until April of 2021 every week. Every week you can get it, and it may be extended. Who knows what's coming up with the new quote-unquote stimulus package, and so maybe there'll be an extension in that, but you can get it every week from now until April for sure. Go check your credit report. Take a look at the inquiries, see if anybody's trying to get credit in your name. I just wanted to pause and say that because it's very important that you protect yourself when it comes to this. Okay, so now back to, you got this revolving, got this installment, these installment loans. Now, what's the difference? What is the difference? So revolving credit would be your credit cards. Plain and simple, that's your credit cards. And it doesn't matter if that card is a traditional card. And when I say traditional, I mean you signed up for a card or you applied for a card and they sent you a credit card and they gave you a $500 limit, a $5,000 limit, whatever it is. A traditional credit card. So it doesn't matter if it's a traditional credit card, and it doesn't matter if it's a secured credit card. So a credit card is a credit card when it comes to this particular pillar, and we're talking about your credit report and your credit score. A card is a card. So if it's traditional, your traditional card, or a secured card where you actually send the money, that becomes your limit, and now it's a secure card. That too actually shows up on your credit report. So I just told you can see if it's revolving or installment. It'll also say secured in there as well. If you have a secured card, it'll tell you that on your credit report. It'll also tell you if it's an individual account. Only you are on this account. Only you are responsible for this account. Or it could say joint. So if it's you and somebody else, you and your spouse, you co-sign something for your nephew, for your kid, whoever it is, it'll say joint, because then it's more than one person. You both signed on to that card. It'll say joint in there. So joint and individual, all those things are on your credit report. But I digress. So back to this. So your revolving, again, traditional or secured, doesn't matter. It's still a revolving account. So that's what we're talking about. It also doesn't matter if it has a large or a small limit. That doesn't matter when it comes to this particular pillar, trying to figure out what your credit mix is. It doesn't matter if you've got a large limit or small limit. That does not matter at all. It doesn't matter in this regard. It's the fact that you have it helps you in this particular pillar. It doesn't matter if it's a store card or if it's a Visa card, MasterCard, Discover, Amex, or even a gas card. None of that matters. What matters is that it's a revolving account. Do you get what I'm putting down? That's what matters, is that it's a revolving account, and this is helpful for you and your credit score. So these are all examples of revolving accounts. So I said a Visa, a MasterCard, Discover, Amex, a store card. So whether you get that card from Neiman Marcus or Target, doesn't matter. It's a card. You got a gas card. Doesn't matter if it's Mobile or Speedway or BP or Road Ranger, what doesn't matter at all, whatever it is, as long as it's a revolving account. And that's where you get that help from this particular pillar of credit. So 5 pillars of credit, right? This is one. Your credit mix is one of them. All right. And this is actually 10% of your credit score. If I didn't mention that earlier, 10% of your credit score is